Hi guys, my name is Valerie Leonard and I have never done this before, so I'm kind of putting myself out there and putting my story out there for those that are struggling with infertility and who have had an ectopic pregnancy. My ectopic pregnancy was December 11th, 2008. I'm going to go back a little. Um, it was actually a month before December 11th that I had found out that I was pregnant. I went to a clinic in my hometown and I was concerned because I was bleeding. For about 3 or 4 weeks I was bleeding. So I went to the doctor not even thinking that I was pregnant. Just went to see why I was bleeding. So I went and the doctor asked if I was pregnant, and I had never imagined that. I never thought I was. I was 18 at the time. And so I told him that I didn't think I was, but he wanted to go through with a pregnancy test and just check just in case. So he did that and he came back into the room and said that I was pregnant. I didn't know whether to be scared, happy, just because I was bleeding. And he told me that I was just going to be one of those girls that had their cycle during pregnancy. So, like any of us would, we would just trust the doctor. So I trusted him and just left. So, and then I went to tell my mom. I told my mom everything. She wasn't very happy. Well, she didn't react anyway, I guess. But I was just 18 and I had just started cosmetology school not long before this. So I think in her mind she was just thinking that I'm still young, I'm just starting my life, and she wanted me to finish school. So, yeah, but anyways, um, so it was December 11th, about 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up screaming in pain, and thank God I had just moved back in with my parents, and so my mom ran up the stairs, and I was in so much pain, could barely talk to her, but I let her know that I couldn't move from the position I was laying in. I was in so much pain. It's the worst pain I had ever felt in my life, ever. I don't even know how to explain it. Just bad abdominal pain. So, my mom yelled down for my dad and said that he needed to call the ambulance, that something was wrong with me, and my dad didn't want to call the ambulance. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, so um, he said he would drive, and it was about 25 minutes to the nearest hospital from where we lived. So he was pretty grumpy at that time of the morning and having to drive. So anyways, we drove to the hospital, and every bump, every movement, anything, just totally, um, just really, really hurt and made the pains worse. But we made it there in about 20, 25 minutes, and we went into the ER, and I told them everything that was happening, that I was pregnant. So they rushed me back to an ER room. They started doing tests, and then I remember them taking me to do an ultrasound, And this is kind of where it gets blurry, but when they took me back to do the ultrasound, they checked everything, they didn't tell me nothing, and then they rushed me back to the room where my mom was waiting, and I remember the doctor coming in, rushing in and saying that I had to have emergency surgery right now. My fallopian tube had already ruptured, I was having an ectopic pregnancy, and I was bleeding internally. So they started putting machines on me, IVs, all that stuff. And then when they were doing that, I could hear him telling my mom that I had a 50-50 chance of living and that she better call anyone that I would want there. And so my mom called, and my aunt and uncle came, my sister came, and so after that, I remember them wheeling me away and my family standing there and crying, and it freaked me out, so I started crying because I was scared and just worried and in pain. And then the next thing I remember is them going into this room. To me at the time it was a very scary looking room, but that I was scared. But I remember them taking me from the bed I was in and laying me on this metal table. And I remember looking down and seeing that I was butt naked. And it's funny now because at the time I looked down, and when I saw myself naked, I'm like, oh my god, all these people are going to see me naked. But I laugh about it now because that was a stupid worry in my head at the time. They were trying to save my life, and I'm worried about being naked. But I remember looking around the room, and there was like 20 doctors, nurses just standing around my table, just rushing. Heard them yelling, saying hurry, and like all this stuff. Next thing I know, they're putting a mask on my face and just telling me to breathe and that I was going to take a nap. So that is all I remember of that. And then I remember waking up when they were taking the tube out of my throat, but then they did something, and I fell back to sleep. And next thing I know, I wake up in the admission room, and my mom and my niece were in there. And then my mom just filled me in about everything that happened, and I just remember crying, being in pain. And then my friend Danielle came up to the hospital to see me and see how I was doing. And while she was there, we decided to ask the nurse if I could see the baby. And the nurse said she was going to ask the doctor. So the doctor came in and just told me I probably did not want to see the baby, not to remember the baby like that, and my mom agreed, so I agreed with them. And to this day, I wish I could have, but it probably would have made things worse even now if I probably would have seen that. But yeah, and I did lose my fallopian tube because it had ruptured. So I don't have my right fallopian tube, but I have both ovaries and my left fallopian tube. But it's the hardest thing that I have had to deal with, and I'm putting it out there because it's been 5 years, and I feel I'm ready to tell my story to help others, to help you girls that are going through this. Maybe getting checked or just something will help you guys, and just be aware of the symptoms and stuff, because I would not wish this upon anyone. It's been a hard, bumpy road having to cope with it and try and get over it. But I do have PCOS as well. So I have, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which I have cysts on my ovaries. So it seems to me like one thing after another, one thing on top of another is just making it difficult to try for a baby. And now that I am married, my husband and I have been trying for 4 years now, with no luck. And my later videos will kind of discuss what we have tried and all that stuff. So yeah, I just want to put this out there and help you guys. And hopefully you guys, some of you girls that have gone through this, can give me some feedback and just some encouraging words and stuff, and just help me through it as well. And I hope this can help you guys as well. So that's my story. Thank you for listening, and please watch for more videos and subscribe. So
guess love just wasn't enough for us to survive. I swear, I tried.